Hi, this is Debbie Martin from NOCE Creative Arts Craft Class, and this is week number 5. So week number 5, we are going to look at fall decorations and a few that I've put up in my house, and then I'm going to show you how to make sweater pumpkins. Yes, sweaters that are old, because you're going to cut them up. So if I can sort of put this on like this, like a sweater like that. See the neckline and the arms, and I think it even has pockets down there. Anyway, we're going to take that and we're going to turn them into pumpkins. This is the biggest one. This is huge. Look at how big that thing is. So anyway, and you can see the cable knit. See the cable knit? So I'm going to show you something I've never shown you before, and that is how to make these things. Okay, so I'm going to try and maneuver without making you too motion sickness. Show you some of the decorations that I use in my sweater pumpkins. I've made hundreds and hundreds of these things over the years. I made them for several boutiques, and probably made several $1,000s selling these at boutiques. So here's my sweater pumpkins on my mantle. Okay, so there they are, and those are white sweater pumpkins. So I have different ones. You can see the dark tan, you can see the sort of ivory, and then this is more of a white, and then back here's a white, and then look at this sort of like a cable knit kind of thing. And then over here I have different ones. I have a striped one, and I have one that has sort of an oatmeal kind of thing to it, and then a tan. I have little buttons on it. That's a tiny one. And then I have like a medium one, and look at the cable knits on that. So, and I'm going to take that little tiny one. That's a tiny one. I'm going to put it next to my other one. So I have them over here at the bottom of my bear. That's my little bear. And because remember, I'm cozy cabin theme. Then I have one over here at the base of my flowers. So anyway, so I just have them all over the place. And I even have some that I haven't even used yet. So this is a little ridiculous, but I'm the one who makes them, so I can be ridiculous. I'm going to show you that I have them over here on my hall tree, and I'm not good at switching the picture back and forth, so I'm just going to sort of move around slowly so I don't, again, make you motion sickness. So here's one at the base of this little squirrel kind of guy, and these are more striped ones, so you can see that. And then another striped one. So again, I just have them everywhere. So let's go sit down, and this is going to be a little not pretty because I'm going to put you in the little holder while I go sit down. I'll make sure that this is at the right angle. I did that before I started the video. Let's see if this is good. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let me show you this gigantic one. I love it. I love, he's this big. And then this tiny one, okay? So you can see you make them all different sizes. And so let me show you how you're going to do this. So you take a sweater, and this sweater looks good, but it has a big hole in part of it, like in the knitting, and I've had this sweater a good 10 years. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut from armpit to armpit, and that's going to be making a big, gigantic pillow. So let me just cut that, and I'm sorry, sweater. You had a good life. I've loved you. Usually I don't cut my own stuff. Usually I go to Goodwill or a thrift store and buy their sweaters. You don't have to buy just sweaters. You can buy, let me put some of this stuff out here. You can buy flannel shirts because this little pumpkin is out of a flannel shirt. See, here's the men's flannel shirt and here's a cute little pumpkin. See how adorable that is? And I'll show you the difference between a shirt and a knit, something's gonna make a noise there. Okay, a knit sweater. So as you see, I have these left over from other projects of making sweater pumpkins. This one is out of a polyester, like a lady's top, a very thin, you can see how thin it is, a lady's top. And I do the same principle, and I'm gonna show you how to cut it. And so this looks like it's from a sleeve, and then this is from a sleeve. And so you can do all different colors. You can do the orange, you can do, here's a plaid, here's a stripe. We've made them in turquoise blue. Here is a peach color. So just whatever you want. Brown. I even did a hot pink sequin one out of a top, a little girl's top, and I made it for one of my granddaughters. She still has it in her bedroom. So you can do it out of anything. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we take this sweater, and for the big pumpkin, it just depends on how big your piece of clothing is. If it's an extra small, then your pumpkin's not gonna be gigantic, it's gonna be extra small. If your pumpkin is like a men's 3X, then it's gonna be a big, the bodice part of your sweater is gonna be bigger, okay? So here's my sweater cut up, and here is for a big pumpkin, okay? That's gonna be like a big one like I just showed you. So the same thing that how we sew it's gonna be on the big one as it does on the little one, but I'm gonna do a little one because the big ones take a lot of stuffing. So now we take, for the smaller pumpkins, we take the sleeve and basically cut it straight. So here is the neckline, and here is the underarm right here, and then we're just gonna cut straight down. We don't cut it at an angle along the shoulder, we cut straight down. So just straight cut it off. Don't have to be perfect. If you know me, I'm not perfect. And so now we're gonna basically cut it into thirds. So if you want to fold your sweater into thirds, then that sort of shows you where to cut. If you want to measure, you can go ahead and measure. It's whatever you want to do. So, you can just, once you make enough of these, you can eyeball it. Now, so that's going to be a smaller pumpkin, and if I cut this in half again, and see how small that piece is, then it would be a very tiny pumpkin like that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll cut this in half so that we can have a couple tiny, tiny pumpkins, like baby pumpkins. So here's a little tiny one, okay? That is, I have a measuring thing here. This littlest one is just 3 inches. That's how all it is. So now we're gonna cut this in half because we don't want them too long a piece. Just because you have a long piece doesn't make you're gonna make a tall pumpkin. You have to be able to go through the pumpkin. You'll see through the top to bottom, and unless you have a super long like embroidery, upholstery needle, a super long upholstery needle, you just can't do it with regular needles. So, so I would say this is about 6 to 7 inches. It's actually 6.5. Okay, so I'm going to, because this is, I can see on the camera, this is dark brown, and my top is sort of a mauve blue. I'm going to get a bright pumpkin so you can see. Okay, so I think you can see this. So we're going to put these away. This one is 5 inches long. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, what I use is I use upholstery thread. It's super strong. I have someone I taught last year that they use yarn because they like to be able to pull really tight. This I can pull really tight and it doesn't break, but that's just my my preference, and also because that's what I have. So upholstery thread, and I like to use a pretty good sized needle and to do all this. So we're going to double the thread and then knot it. Excuse me while I wet my fingers. I have something down here I'll use. Okay. And tie a knot. Okay. And then, this is important for the first one. We're making this bottom part first. So you want to turn your piece of sweater inside out so that the seam is showing. And then if you have the curve of the sweater, like okay, see how this has a curve? Like this is narrower here than this is. So you want the big part to be the bottom of the pumpkin, okay? So this one doesn't really have a curve. So maybe this down here is a little bit bigger than that, the shape of the sleeve. So, okay, so then you're gonna go to the biggest circumference, and we're gonna make that the bottom. So then we just start basting around, in and out, and I do like 1/2 inch in and out. And again, my sweater is inside out. So, you know, you see sweater pumpkins, I do now at Joann's and Hobby Lobby, and if I can just say this, they're cute, but they're not as cute as these. So, you know, you will look at everybody's sweaters in a different way. You'll be going, oh, look at that sweater she has on. That'd be a really cute pumpkin. And, okay, so then we're going to gather that all up. See, I've gathered it up. And then I just sort of make a couple of stitches to lock it in. And then, just to make sure it doesn't come apart, I go through my gathering from this side to that side. And I'll go, let's say we go north to south, and then we go over to the east, and then we go over to the west. Let's just sort of say that, okay? And I tie that really tight, and I lock it in with a few stitches. And then we'll tie a knot, okay? And that's all we do for the bottom. That is the gathering of the pumpkin. I one time had these at a boutique and that I did several years ago. It was our 40th anniversary, and I wanted my husband and I to do 40 things for our 40th anniversary. And one of them was going back east to Williamsburg, Virginia. And my husband said, how are you going to do that? We don't have money for that. And I said, I don't know, but we will. And then I started making these pumpkins, and guess what? We went. So, okay, so we're going to take that gathering that we just did, and we're going to turn it so that it looks like a belly button, right? So there you go. Okay, so that's the bottom. That is this part right here, okay? So then we're going to take the top and the same kind of thing. I don't have enough thread to really do that, so I'm going to put some more thread on. And let's see what happened to, there's my end. Okay. Our last week we had several phone calls. That was a crazy day. So hopefully I don't have any more phone calls today, because that stops the video and then I have to splice it, and then it is more work. So I've told my family not to call, but I don't know. We have lots of people calling between, like I said yesterday, between the elections and all the sales calls. We just always have a lot. We'll see how far we go, okay? All right, so now we're going to take this. This is going to be the top, and we're going to take this, and again, we're just going to start it, about 1/4 inch from the top, maybe 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to anchor it, and then just start basting about every 1/2 inch. So let me show you. This is, let me show you how wide a stitch I'm doing, okay? It's not tiny at all, okay? You don't care about tininess. You just want to get her done. So, and I would do this in front of the TV. While I was getting ready for a boutique, trying to make money for our trip, we went to Lake Tahoe area to see family, and there I was in the truck making pumpkins. And I had them all over the back seat. And then while we were visiting family, I was stuffing pumpkins, and so I made a lot of pumpkins because it's a 9-10 hour drive. Okay, so now I'm not going to pull that tight, okay, yet. So I'm going to leave it open, all right, and then we're going to put some stuffing in it, all right. So I'm leaving it, I'm not cutting it, I'm leaving this thread connected to that gathering, okay? See how I can gather it? So I'm just sort of leaving it and putting the needle down, and then I'm going to take, and usually I have like an old bed pillow or something like that that I take from, and today I don't. I have another little pillow that I'm taking from. So now, if you're making that big gigantic pillow, that would take almost a whole bag or a whole bed pillow. Like, you know how you buy those bags at the craft store or the fabric store for stuffing? That pillow takes this pumpkin, there we go. This pumpkin takes a lot. It just takes a lot because it's big. And so, so this one, so I just take it and I just stuff it, and it can be lumpy because pumpkins are lumpy sometimes. And I just try and stuff around the outside. I try and make like a donut in the middle. So I'm stuffing around the outside. And I put my fingers in the middle and I just sort of like stuff it around like that. Okay, it's amazing how much this little pumpkin stuffing it takes for this little pumpkin. Okay, so I think we're done. See? All right, so now I'm going to pull that together. See how I'm doing that? But I want to leave enough for the stem. All right, I'm going to hold that thread on my finger there. I happen to know that I have these little sticks that I cut from our little crepe myrtle tree, and I'm going to put this in here. So if I have like a big stick, then I sort of know what I'm going to do. If I have a tiny stick, so I'm going to leave that little hole. Yep, that'll fit. Okay, and I just sort of hold it so it doesn't, and I just sort of anchor with a couple stitches. I anchor that gathering. And there we go. Now I can let it go more. And okay, I'm sort of anchoring it again because I want it to hold really still. I don't cut it because we're not ready to cut this yet, okay? I'm gonna put a knot, and we're gonna hide all this, okay? So you're not gonna see all that, okay? So now, it looks like a round pumpkin, but I think what makes mine cuter than the other pumpkins, oh, here's a phone call, but thank goodness it's on the video. So anyway, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Call from unavailable.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to take this and go down through here and come out the back. And it's going to make it have that little, see how it has that little indentation? That's what's going to create. Okay? So hopefully whoever's calling is not going to call my cell phone. Oh, please, please, please. So I'm going down and then I'm cutting out. Cutting through, I can see my needle coming there, and I pull it. And then I go back down and I come up the other side. So see how I'm pulling that and how it's making it sort of have an indentation? There are these pumpkins called fairy tale pumpkins or Cinderella pumpkins, and they're not the totally round pumpkin. It is a pumpkin that has like a little indentation in it. And that's what I like these. And let me show you on that big one again. So see how I'm getting that indentation? Oops, my battery is low. So let me charge it up. Hold on, I'm there. We have a little battery issue. Okay, we're having a little battery issue, but that's okay. Let me check it. Yeah. Okay, I'm still there. I just plugged in the charger. We're good. Okay, so see how this one has the indentation. See how it goes together here? That's what we're creating with this little peach colored pumpkin. So we're creating that, and then we'll just go back up, and I angle my needle so I sort of try and get the directions of north, south, east, and west kind of indentions, stitches. So you're not going up and down the same holes. I do it sort of 4 times, and I try and come up on all sides of the hole where my stem's gonna go. So, okay, so I've tried to do one going down here, 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 and here. And I keep them right towards the center so you don't see the stitches, okay? Then you bring it up tight. And again, I'm just going to lock it by going through a couple stitches just to lock it. And then I'm also going to make a knot. Okay? There we go. All right, that's all the sewing. That is it. That's it. Okay. So, here we go. Doesn't that look cute? All right. Oops, I forgot. I should have this on. I always forget to wear that. There we go. You guys can't read it anyway, but all right. So now we have our decorating. We have buttons, and we have some jute or twine, and I have some fall leaves. So we're going to decorate with this. So first of all, we're going to put our stick. So I'm going to put my stick right down in that. So make sure it goes down. And what I do is I put a big bunch of glue on the bottom of the stick. And then I'm going to just stick it down in there. Okay? There you go. I'm gonna wiggle that back down. See? I think it's cute already. All right, but to make it cuter, then we're going to take this twine and going to tie a knot. And sometimes I can use it and because this hot glue is still down there, it's still sort of wet, and I might put a little bit of glue. And sometimes if I have a big mess down there, I make just a couple of turns around the bottom of the stick. See how I made a couple rows of the twine? This is extra big twine or jute from, I think I got it from, okay. Well, somebody, I didn't tell them not to call me. One of my friends called me. Very nice to have friends, and but we were almost done. I almost made it without someone calling and stopping the video. Okay, I love that friend, and she didn't know that I was taping, so it's okay. It's okay. All right, so we've put that around a couple times around the base of the stem. And again, you don't have to use glue gun because glue gun is hot. And but you can use tacky glue. That's going to just take longer to do. And so now I'm just going to make a bow. And also what I try and do is I try and make my bow, the part that you look at, the opposite side of where the seam is, okay? So if you have a seam, you don't want your seam to be in the middle of what you're looking at or to the side or something. I try and have it in the back. And on a shirt like this, I try and have my seams on the sides. So, because the shirt has two seams. So I try and have them on the side, just so it's not in the front. But sometimes if you have a shirt with buttons, I keep the buttons on, and then I want the buttons going down the front. So just to whatever you guys want. Okay, so it's looking cuter. And then I'm gonna put just one little leaf and glue that on there. And then I'm gonna pick some buttons from my button box. And let's see. I'm thinking like some brown buttons, and oh, I do have sort of this piece. So my phone got too hot, so I had to literally put it in the refrigerator. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're basically just putting some decorations on a leaf, some jute, and I'm going to wrap this up before somebody else calls and we have to start it again. So let me just tie a little knot, because that's what I like to do in the ends. And there we go. You could add more buttons if you wanted to. You could add some little vines or little other raffia instead of the jute, whatever you want to do. So there you go. There is our sweater pumpkins, and this is a shirt pumpkin. All right. So that's it for week number 5. And hope you guys are all doing good. Here's a phone call again. Good grief. Okay, thank you. From NOCE, Creative Arts and Crafts. See you later. Bye-bye. Stay well.